finals night for what has to be, I guess, one of the biggest weeks for girls athletics, maybe ever, I don't know.
Certainly, if you enjoy basketball, you had your fill this week, and it all wrapped.
Second best. Sklar's main event. You'll agree that every other sale is second best. Sklar's, 7th and Minnesota in downtown St. Paul.
Sale on now ends Monday.
Well, tonight is finals night for what has to be, I guess, one of the biggest weeks for girls athletics, maybe ever, I don't know.
Certainly, if you enjoy basketball, you had your fill this week, and it all wraps up tonight with both the women's college basketball finals and the state high school girls tournament. Now, there was plenty of action in last night's state high school semifinals as New York Mills gained entry into tonight's Class A championship with a convincing 42-32 win over Marshall University. Melanie Moore directed the Cardinals into an early 6-point advantage. Moore scored 6 points in the opening period, but then injured her leg and was held scoreless the rest of the way. Joan Johnson picked up the slack for Marshall U in the second quarter. She led the Cardinals with 13 points. The Cardinals pretty well neutralized Mills' Janet Carvonen in the first half, but Jenny Miller kept the Eagles in the game with shots like that. New York Mills outscored Marshall U in the third period, but then exploded in the final 8 minutes to come away with a 16-point, 48-32 win. Janet Carvonen, the freshman who broke the tournament scoring record with 29 points Thursday, came on strong in the closing minutes and finished as the game's leading scorer with 15 points. Mayor Lutheran pulled the biggest upset of the tourney in last night's second Class A semifinal. The Crusaders edged previously unbeaten Heron Lake 42-40. Heron Lake got off to a strong start. For an early lead, senior guard Betty Burns hits here for 2 for the Falcons. But this young lady, Cindy Balsam, number 20 in the light jersey, caught fire. She scored on a high arching shot there. Balsam, a sophomore, scored Mayor Lutheran's first 6 points of the game. And the Crusaders of Mayor, Minnesota kept pace with the taller Heron Lake team throughout the first half. And as I said, they went on for that win. So here's how tonight's championship schedule works out. New York Mills and Mayor Lutheran tango for the Class A title at 7 tonight. And then at 9 o'clock, St. Cloud Apollo meets Burnsville for the Class AA championship. It'll be defending champion Delta State of Mississippi against LSU for the championship of women's college basketball tonight at Williams Arena, I should say this afternoon, 4 o'clock. Delta State, the 2-time defending national champions, appeared to have things wrapped up in last night's semifinals when they shot a 61% average in the first half to take a 34-18 halftime lead. But Tennessee countered with 40 points in the second half and lost by only 4, 62-58. Cornelia Ward led the way with 19. Wanda Harrison collected 15. Lucy Harris added 14 points for the winners. Louisiana State gained its berth into the finals with a 74-68 upset of Immaculata College. The NCAA basketball tournament moves into semifinals this afternoon at Atlanta, and here's how that stacks up. 7th-rated Marquette takes on North Carolina's Charlotte in the opening game, and then 4th-rated Nevada Las Vegas meets the 5th-ranked Tar Heels of North Carolina. The North Stars resume their battle for a playoff spot in the Smythe Division tonight when they tangle with the Blackhawks of Chicago. Stars are currently in 4th place in their division, a point behind those Chicago Blackhawks. Twins outfielder Lyman Bostock said he won't be in a Minnesota uniform next year if he hasn't signed a contract before this year's season opener. Bostock, who hit .323 last year, is believed to be asking for a long-term contract in the neighborhood of $200,000 a year. The Twins, meanwhile, resume their exhibition schedule this afternoon, taking on the Houston Astros in Orlando. One of the most disappointing teams thus far in the Grapefruit League has been the New York Yankees. But as Ralph John Fritz reports, the disappointment shouldn't last long.
The New York Yankees came to Orlando and kept their record intact by selling out in every one of their road games during spring training. And why shouldn't they, with names like Reggie Jackson, Doc Ellis, Chris Chambliss, Carlos May, Greg Nettles, Catfish Hunter, Kenny Holtzman, just to name a few. You get the feeling you're at an all-star game rather than a spring training game. The banners reflect the feelings of fans all over the nation. The Yankees should have the pennant wrapped up before the ice goes out on Lake Mille Lacs. Former Twins manager Billy Martin, who's just as popular as ever with the fans, seems to be in a position of nothing to gain and everything to lose. But Billy isn't feeling any pressure to win, or at least that's what Billy says. The way I look at it, with everyone saying that the Yankees are going to have no problem winning the pennant, the pressure really has to be on you, doesn't it? Do you say to yourself, look, what can I do to make anyone happy?
Well, that's the one thing you don't do. You don't change the way you manage, otherwise complacency will set in. And if I was going to do what these people are talking about, I'd be up in Minnesota fishing during the summer and let the team just go on and manage them in the playoffs and the World Series.
So there are many contrasts between the Minnesota Twins and the New York Yankees. For starters, fans will be mighty surprised if the Yankees don't win the American League Eastern pennant once again, and they'll be surprised if the Twins do win in the American League West. With photographer Larry Kohout, this is Ralph John Fritz, WCCO Television Sports in Orlando, Florida.
Carol Rosenblum, the owner of the Los Angeles Rams, says it's a good bet that New York Jets quarterback Joe Namath will be playing with the Rams this season if his knees pass the team's physical exam. Tom Watson leads the Heritage Classic in Hilton Head, South Carolina by a stroke, and Barry, the top-ranked college hockey team in the country, the University of Wisconsin, faces Michigan tonight in the NCAA Hockey Championship in Detroit.
Okay, thank you, Tom. We'll have a final item in just a moment.
Announcing the most amazing kitchen cutting tool ever invented.
The Scene today. Join us at 6. Have a good afternoon.
From the Northwest Communication Center, this has been The Scene today. For up-to-the-minute news, it's The Scene at 6 on Channel 4.